If you have plans to go to the Appalachian Mountains, here are some rules. Never be in the woods from dusk till dawn. Never leave the marked trail. It's marked off for a reason. If you hear voices close to you, they're far away. But if the voices are far away, then they're near. Do not whistle or sing in the woods. Never look too hard into the trees. When I was 7 years old, my family would go camping. My grandparents used to tell me to watch out for the little people. I didn't believe them. Me and my dad were down by the creek. My dad walked up to the camping spot. I saw a little man about 2 feet tall. He was on the other side of the creek, and he was waving for me to come over. I started to, but then my dad came back. I looked over across the creek, and the little man wasn't there anymore. Now that I'm older, I looked up what the thing could have been. It's a piece of folklore. Legend. Fiction? I don't know. I still think I saw a little person. They draw people into the woods and use them as bait for food. I grew up in central Kentucky. I was around 14 when my dog and I went hiking. I sat reading a book near a stream. We heard a twig snap and looked up. A little man had come out from behind a tree and was beckoning me to go to him. My dog's hackles went up and she took to growling and snarling. I tossed my stuff into my pack and ran the entire 1.5 miles home. I never went back into those woods again. My mom saw us run inside, frothing and dripping sweat. She believed me when I told her what I saw. Before I start, I just want to clarify that this isn't some made-up story or legend. I experienced this a few weeks ago. I recently went on an annual summer vacation with my family in the Smoky Mountains. I have to say that it was absolutely stunning. I loved every part of our stay there. The people we interacted with along the way were friendly and welcoming. We stayed in Gatlinburg in a nice rented cabin up in the mountains. It was pretty cool. I didn't feel any bad vibes or any of that stuff. This was just a nice vacation with a warm community up in the mountains. It was the first night of our stay, and we were all having a family game night for some bonding time. I had slammed a monster prior to that to keep myself awake. I didn't think anything of it, considering I have never had any bad reactions to caffeine prior to this night. After a few hours of Ticket to Ride, we decided it was time to head to bed, because we had plans the following day. So of course, I had some trouble sleeping. The cabin had this front door that was locked by a code, and a glass door in front of it. The glass door didn't lock at all, only the main door. Now, I kept hearing what sounded like the glass door being flung open and shut by something. I also heard some kind of weird, heavy breathing. There were no storms or heavy winds that night. In fact, the weather was clearer than my eyesight. These noises continued the entire time I was awake. I eventually got up and was soon joined by my dad. He couldn't sleep for other reasons. I told him what I heard, and he said he didn't hear anything. Soon after, we eventually went back to bed. I hid under my covers that night until I was able to finally sleep. But I kept waking up constantly, still hearing the noise. I also felt like there was something lurking around the cabin, but I didn't dare look outside. I just kept my curtains shut and ignored it the best I could. For the rest of the trip, anytime we were in the backyard at night, something didn't feel right. I refused to be out there alone past sunset, even if I was with other people. I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched by something in the trees. It's like my body knew something was out there with ill intentions.